We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Often, the hands will solve a mystery that the intellect has struggled with in vain. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Where love rules, there is no will to power. And where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. Creative powers can just as easily turn out to be destructive. It rests solely with the moral personality. A dream that is not understood remains a mere occurrence. Understood, it becomes a living experience. A special ability means a heavy expenditure of energy in a particular direction, with a consequent drain from some other side of life. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. I regret many follies which sprang from my obstinacy, but without that trait I would not have reached my goal. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved, but only outgrown. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting go of it. It is often tragic to see how blatantly a man bungles his own life and the lives of others, yet remains totally incapable of seeing how much the whole tragedy illuminates in himself, and how he continually feeds it and keeps it going. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. The acceptance of oneself is the essence of the whole moral problem and the epitome of a whole outlook on life. Find out what a person fears most, and that is where he will develop next. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. Nobody can fall so low unless he has a great depth. In all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. Nobody, as long as he moves about among the chaotic currents of life, is without trouble. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light in the darkness of mere being. Great talents are the most lovely and often the most dangerous fruits on the tree of humanity. They hang upon the most slender twigs that are easily snapped off. Faith, hope, love, and insight are the highest achievements of human effort. They are found given by experience. Where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, their love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. Life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. Nothing has a stronger influence psychologically on their environment and especially on their children than the unlived life of the parent. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible. When an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate. No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. We are not what happened to us. We are what we wish to become. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Every psychic advance of man arises from the suffering of the soul. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Every human life contains a potential. If that potential is not fulfilled, then that life was wasted. The best political, social, and spiritual work we can do is to withdraw projection of our shadow onto others. What you resist persists. The reason for evil in the world is that people are not able to tell their stories. If there is anything that we wish to change in the child, we should first examine it and see whether it is not something that could better be changed in ourselves. Nights through dreams tell the myths forgotten by the day. Every human life contains a potential. If that potential is not fulfilled, then that life was wasted. Sensation tell us a thing is, thinking tell us what it is. This thing is, feeling tells us what this thing is to us. I must also have a dark side if I am to be whole. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises. On the path of life, if an attractive woman is single, it's because she's smarter than anyone else. You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. The pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. There's no coming to consciousness without pain. In all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. As far as we can discern, the sole purpose of human existence is to kindle a light of meaning. In the darkness of mere being, whatever is rejected from the self appears in the world as an event. Where wisdom reigns, there is no conflict between thinking and feeling. Normality is a fine ideal for those who have no imagination. A man's hatred is always concentrated upon that which makes him conscious of his bad qualities. The difference between a good life and a bad life is how well you walk through the fire. I shall not commit the fashionable stupidity of regarding everything I cannot explain as a fraud. Conflict exists strictly as an opportunity to raise our consciousness. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. It is only our deeds that reveal who we are. Trust that which gives you meaning and accept it as your guide. Life calls not for perfection, but for completeness.